All right, did a bit of cleanup, as promised. New towels. New shop rags, new towels. So, relatively quick one today. Got this here saw, which needs some attention. Had it sitting in the vinegar for a little while. Get some water and baking soda on there to neutralize it. Get that rust off, make it look pretty again. By the look of it, it's all going to be rather easy. Well, at least it would be on that side, not so much on here. Baking soda's gone all solid on me. I'm going to have to buy some more of that. Yeah, it's actually coming off. Might be a quicker, shorter video than I thought. I thought it would be short to begin with. That's okay. If it's too short, I'll do a second one on the same video. But yeah, that saw that I had mentioned previously, another new towel. That saw that I had mentioned previously and showed you previously was all coated up in rust. It's bound to do it thicker than it maybe should be. Yeah, that big line, rust down the center there. Let's see what we can do with that. It's a good sharp saw. I like using it. I can still feel the texture on there. Fortunately, that bucket ain't quite deep enough. I can only get half the blade in the vinegar. But, worst case scenario, you'll see the difference between what happens when you use vinegar and what happens when you don't. A lot coming off already, as you can see. Where it did, there's the little brush. This is actually an old school shoe brush. Hard plastic on the outside and a wire brush in the middle. It's already coming up nicer. Let's get the worst side. You see the line there, the difference between how much rust there is built up here versus how much is right here. That's the difference. Show you up close. So there is how the metal is affected. There's the line. There's where the metal is affected by the vinegar. The rest is affected by the vinegar. There's without the vinegar. Huge, huge difference, as you can tell. There's still a lot of texture on there I got to scrape off. This side not nearly as bad, but you can see the difference just as well. That line there. That was in the vinegar. This was not. All right. I break out whatever, well, actually I'll just break out a knife. Got a few of those around, so I'll hard scrape that stuff. Want to make this thing pretty. I like taking care of my tools. Scrape her down. Texture all smooth. I bet you can see this thing coming back to life. There's a good scrape. We'll hit it with some sandpaper. Comes down to it. I can't get this non-vinegared section off. I'll take the handle off, put the other end of it in the vinegar. Leave that for a day. See how that works out. I'm not worried about a little bit of pitting, but when it's a built-up texture like this, it's a little worrisome. It comes down to it. There is one other trick I am going to try. It's a jeweler's polish. It's wonderful stuff. You buy a little baby food jar sized container of it for 20 bucks. Jeweler's polish. Talk to a jeweler about it. Turns out what it is a 50-50 mix of Windex and Mr. Clean. And you get a bottle of Windex or a bottle of Mr. Clean for about $1.50 at Dollarama. There's no reason. 2 bottles this size, they cost $3.50. Should come out to a baby food jar for 20 bucks. So, not about to spend that money in that direction. Other ways to save money. As far as the whole YouTube tool restoration thing, I am not Screws and Tools. That guy is fucking amazing. I am not Hand Tool Rescue. That guy's fucking amazing. I don't have sponsorships. We don't have AdSense. This is entirely on my dime. Until such point as I build up enough subscribers, views, and watch hours to make money. So this is essentially me doing this in the hopes that it'll work as an investment for the future. run your finger along something, you can tell the differences in textures a lot better than you can see them. So, example, this is smooth. This is not. And this is absolutely sharp, which is the reason I'm so keen on keeping this saw working. As it stays sharp. Keeps its viability as a tool by maintaining its edge. Use. Sharpening a saw is difficult, so you want what saws you have to keep sharp. Without a great deal of effort on your part. Means it's made of good steel if it does that. Let's break that up, get a cleaner edge. Dull blade anyway. That didn't work too well. There. Hitting it from the wrong side. And a sharper edge on the knife means taking off a lot more rust. That's working out nice. Let's use some Windex. Wipe this down and see what our results look like so far. Oh, sorry, clean towel. It's bound to happen. Yeah. Clean this off completely as best we can here. And it's definitely showing the difference between using the vinegar or not. For the result you get. Good comparison. Definitely give it that. Let's get some sandpaper in the mix here. If you have a good smooth surface, you don't want to use sandpaper on that surface, so little tiny pieces will do. You only want to use it where the texture is really rough, which is where all the rust is. It does really take a lot more effort. We didn't use that vinegar. We're getting a reasonable result out of it. Let's get this big chunk here. I think that one's finally given up the ghost. A good piece there. Still got grit on it. I put out a call locally for more tools that are damaged and distressed and in need of rescue. Put out a call locally. There we are. Now we got some fucking pressure. The reason I did that is I'm running out of stuff to fix. As the other members of the household here, what they got, not much. No result as of yet. There I'm breaking my own rule. The second you put a knife down, close it. Just brushed my finger there. I don't know how well you can see that mark, but it did actually scratch. So yeah, follow that rule. The second you're done with a knife, you put it away. Close the blade. This is unfortunately about as good as I'm going to get right now. But you can definitely see the difference between vinegar or no vinegar. So what I'm going to do next, wow, that's just fucking nasty. That is still nasty across here. I can still feel the difference in texture. I can still feel it stopping my finger when I drag it across. A little more pressure there. So next up, I'm going to take this handle off, put it back in the vinegar. There's this little segment here. Let's see, I got that much on that end, which means I can get that much on that end. Yeah, there'll be that little segment there that won't get completely done. I'll do as much as I can right now. At least you can see the difference. Yeah. Get that done. You definitely see that line clean as day. Way up close, you can see the reflections and the texture. There's the line. See, the rust along the blade, next to the blade there, is completely gone where it was in the vinegar. Flaked off, it's gone. You can see how much it thins out, and it's just minor pitting across here versus a big patch across here, especially thick there and there. But where it's completely gone there, it's still visible across here. On this side, you can absolutely see the difference. A little bit of pitting and such there versus a big patch of rust there. And there was a lot more sanding and scraping across this area. Here's the light on that so you can see it. Yeah. So let's take that handle off. We'll put that back in vinegar. Then move on to the next tool. Screwdriver. And I need to change bit. Nope. Chicago screws. It's a screw on both sides. I'll get another screwdriver so we can do that. Find another screwdriver. Another Robertson. Give me a minute while I find another tool. As it turns out, I got a lot of bits, screwdriver bits and drill bits and such that could use to be cleaned up. Might do those next. Combination screw head ain't doing the best. It's supposed to be combination screw head. Half Robertson, half Phillips. Well, a large Phillips with a Robertson in the center. But in practice, don't do as well as it does in theory. So let's use 2 big Phillips. I have to say, I do like these Irwin saws. Oh! Somebody put Loctite on there. That's why it didn't come apart. So yeah, I put the call out locally on Craigslist and on Facebook Marketplace, asking if anybody in the area has broken or rusty crap that they were going to throw out and take it off their hands. Also, if anybody has anything that they want restored as a keepsake or heirloom or whatever, taken care of properly, that I could do for them for free, as long as I can record it, post it to YouTube. Did that last night. No calls yet, but I'm hoping. There we are. This can set aside. This, go back in the sludge bucket. Well, this can come out for me to work on next. All right, let's get set up here. Put this in the baking soda. Give it a few minutes to soak. Vinegar. And we'll see if that square is still square. Well, the acid and the vinegar should be neutralized by the baking soda and the water. Been a good few. Let's see what happens. I don't know if this square is still square. May or may not be so. It definitely ain't still straight, so that's going to have to be hammered out. But that can be done. As long as it's still square, we're good. A bit of a bend there at the end here, which I might have to hammer out, which is going to be difficult because this is cast aluminum. But we'll see what happens. The other bucket out of the way. Get the first tool. This one's probably going to be quick, comparatively. I mean, that saw weren't too fast. It didn't get finished yet. Let's do the other half of that tomorrow. For the rest of today, I'll show you doing a rather simple one. I am going to wire brush aluminum on this too. flake off any paint that wants to flake off. See how clean it gets. I can already feel that coming apart. The rest just wiping off. That's good. Paint's coming off too, as you can tell. Let's kill this towel. Oh, yeah, let's kill this towel even further. Kill another corner off of it. Definitely cleans up easy. That blue paint has become a slurry. Get that off there somehow. I'm thinking Windex. Seems to be the third chemical additive that is quickly becoming a part of this process. See a little chip of the aluminum done come off there at some point. All in all, she's still pretty solid, so we'll see if we can save it. Yeah. All right. Let's Windex the handle. Well, let's Windex the whole thing. Nothing wrong with this. A little ammonia shouldn't be able to save. I got straight ammonia. I use that for softening leather when I'm doing my sewing work. Amazingly useful chemical. People will say to me, "Oh, I don't use Windex because it's not natural." You try and use vinegar to clean glass, clean stuff in the bathroom. What they don't realize is vinegar is a lot less natural than ammonia. How do you get ammonia? It off-gases when you decay urine. One process, one step. Pretty simple. You capture the off-gassing and you bottle it. Or somehow contain it. Let it condense and fall. You don't even need heat for that. Just let it decay on its own, all natural. How do you get vinegar? Well, first you got to take wine. Well, how do you get wine? Vinegar is involves a process of farming, then juicing, then fermentation, then potentially distillation, and decay. Windex is just off-gassing from urine. You throw a little soap in there and you got Windex. Or you just use straight ammonia, it's a little stronger. I don't even need to sand that. That is incredible. All right. Let's see about getting that banana curve out of there. First, see if it is square. For that, we need another square to measure it against, and a straight edge. Take our square, put it on the straight edge, it sits. Let's take this square, put it on there. It is still square. That's good to know. It is still square. Just the blade's kind of bent. So I'll hammer that as straight as I can. I'll show you what's going to happen next. So that top edge Still has a little bit of warp to it here and there. It ain't completely straight, as you can see. But the measuring edge is dead on. It still marks square, so it's not off kilter, off angle anywhere there. That is a rescued tool. It's blacker than ape shit as far as dirt, but I will just oil that and put it away. I should finish you for today. You got 1.5 tools redone. All right, so oil that up and put it aside. A standardized treatment of WD-40. Seal everything in. Soak some oil in to keep them rusting. It ain't perfect, but it's usable, functional, square. It'll last another, well, it's probably lasted more than half a century already. Maybe it'll last another half century. Okay. Talk to you next time.